kicking.
She was using the turkey as a
Sorry to
stool.
Jay since he splashed it.
Yeah. This is gratuitous at least.
Oh, you married Beth.
Yeah, so that's it, you guys, for the... And Jay just gave me some new video this morning.
I know Chris's log notes would detail finding birds, you know, as soon as they came off the trucks, whose legs were broken so severely that, you know, just barely hanging by a thread of skin. You know, the bone was totally severed in half.
And we've got footage of that. We've got stills as well.
I mean, you've got his witness statement and the other witness statements.
We have what we have, and
his log notes must
Right, the log notes
document
detail it
that.
very clearly, but I think Lori's going to have him sign an affidavit.
Now, how much weight in court will his sworn statement hold versus what we have on videotape?
It doesn't really matter because we will move heaven and earth to put every complaint together that we possibly can just hold on to by a straw.
I was on my lunch break at work, and I noticed we had a handful of turkeys. We had a handful of turkeys in the parking lot. And normally during the day, we have to, our job as live hangers is to go out into the parking lot and pick up the errant turkeys. But I noticed that one Carmen had gone either under the fence or past security guard and into the street. I called Ingrid. I told her that I had found a bird, and she said that she was interested in getting Carmen to a sanctuary.
All right, sweetie.
Essentially, she was a runaway, so she
Came off the truck.
came off the truck and left the facility.
Finders keepers.
Yeah.
Right. We just put some straw down. Of course, she's probably not used to straw.
Had the blanket
Used
and
to
wood
anything.
chips, really.
There you are. There you are. Look. Don't go that way. Keep this way then. Look. They cut her toes off. Yeah. Look at his little tiny ears. You can come out. We'll get you some water. That's the trick. All right, I'm going to leave you in peace. You can rest. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to our news conference. My name is Ingrid Newkirk. I'm with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I'd like to say that Arkansas law is very clear that anyone who subjects an animal to cruel mistreatment or neglect is guilty of cruelty to animals. And the law defines cruelty as every act, omission, or neglect whereby unjustifiable physical pain, suffering, or death is caused or permitted. I'm going to show you a very brief clip of video footage from the plant narrated by one of the investigators who worked there.
At this plant, about 50,000 birds were shackled and slaughtered every day.
I never like to look in the crystal ball because what should happen is never necessarily what does happen. I think that the prosecutor will feel some pressure to prosecute, but probably more pressure from financial interests as big as ConAgra and Smithfield not to prosecute. And the feds may think, well, they really, under this administration, they certainly are being asked to back off, not push for the enforcement of any laws, including health laws.
Has Butterball responded?
Butterball has responded. They've said, in the same way they said a year ago, that if there is any abuse, they will fire the employees responsible. I wouldn't hold your breath till you turn blue.
You like a free DVD? Rice People to boycott Butterball brand turkeys. We found them molesting birds on one of their processing plants in Ozark, Arkansas. Thank you. Rice People go vegetarian this holiday, but at the very least don't support Butterball. You know, this is horrendous abuse these animals have to endure.
I want people to lift a finger. If they just do one thing, if they just try one meal that didn't have animals in it, if everybody would do that, or just 5% of people would do that, it would make this enormous difference. It's just that the enormity of the human population and the amazing amount of greed, selfishness, inconsideration, just thoughtlessness. We, especially in America, we live in this protected microcosm of happiness and consumerism and going to the gym and reading magazines and watching TV and stuffing our faces. And we don't see, we don't experience, we don't feel what's going on for the majority of living beings of any species in the world. You know, most people go to bed at night hungry. You know, most animals in the world are going to be thrown out because nobody wants them anymore. Overall, it's not a nice place.
How old were you when you got the tattoo?
19. I actually tried to auction this part of my arm. When I am really dead, this will come off and it will be tanned, and it's going to be skin for a lizard skin wallet, because it is a lizard skin, and when I'm dead I can sell it.
So you have someone in charge of that for you?
I do. I have my whole body taken care of when I'm dead. Little bits are going in different places. And I think your body is a political instrument, and you should use it if you want to. Use your voice, use whatever you've got for a social cause.
Okay, Ingrid, there's reports that you've made out a last will and testament whereby you're going to give your flesh for barbecue. Now, what is this all about?
Well, I think when I die, animal cruelty isn't going to have stopped, and I don't want to stop campaigning against it. So I decided maybe I'll put my body to use. So I've donated some to PETA to barbecue when I'm gone. And if people smell that flesh cooking and they think, yum, it might cause them to come up short if they think, oh Lord, it could be her.
She wants to be an historic figure when she makes statements that her body should be roasted after she dies or some such thing. I mean, meat consumption, dairy consumption globally is on the rise. While Ingrid Newkirk is crawling around on the street in the fake blood, what's the message there? I think it has a hollow ring to it, and it gets attention for an organization, but it hasn't helped an idea evolve.
PETA's emergence and Ingrid's leadership have had a huge impact on the way animals are viewed in society. But I'm afraid in too many cases, PETA has allowed the opposition to marginalize the organization. How PETA is viewed historically, it's too early to say. I mean, history is being made every day.
In other news tonight, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, also known as PETA, released a video and a report of a 3-month investigation at a Butterball facility in Ozark. The group says turkeys were severely abused.
Our main goal is to stop suffering, as much suffering as we possibly can. There will probably not be a day when the whole world respects all animal life. But if you think something is going to fail and you don't do it, then you have failed. Hello. Hi, guys. All you can do is try, and one day you might get a big bang, and other times you might get a small bang. Even a failure, to me, is still doing something. Oh, this is her lucky day. But I believe you always achieve by trying.
Are you guys ready to watch this? These animals have been dosed for almost a year now, twice a day. And they have learned to clench their jaws, and these people will do anything to get them open.
PETA's who I think even the man in the street now realizes leads the fight for animal rights. I think before PETA, I just don't know if that was even on people's minds. And that's the first step. You know, I think it's at a place now where for most people it's on their minds and they still don't care. But at least they have to start to confront it. And that alone is a huge victory.
Directions for the disposition of the remains of Ingrid Newkirk. A, that the meat of my body, or a portion thereof, be used for a human barbecue, to remind the world that the meat of a corpse is all flesh, regardless of whether it comes from a human being or another animal. B, that my skin be removed and made into leather products, to remind the world that human skin and the skin of other animals is the same. C, that in remembrance of the elephant foot umbrella stands and tiger rugs I saw as a child, my feet be removed, and umbrella stands or other ornamentation be made from them. D, that one of my eyes be removed, mounted, and delivered to the Administrator of the United States Environmental Protection Agency as a reminder that PETA will continue to be watching the agency. E, that anything else be done with my body that PETA believes will serve to draw attention to and so abate the plight of exploited animals.